I thought about my daddy this morning, my father. My father was a military man. And it's interesting when I would ask my father, I said, Daddy, how come you don't have an alarm clock? He said, boy, responsibility wakes me up every morning. I have a wife and 6 children. I don't need anybody to tell me to get up to go to work. But something strange happened that still shakes me to this day. When I became the pastor of Antioch Baptist Church in Brooklyn, New York, 828 Green Avenue, in do-or-die Bed-Stuy. My dad and mom came to be with me for my installation along with my family. My father decided to stay with me, and my mother stayed in Midtown with her sisters, and they went shopping and all of that. I told my father, I said, Daddy, when we're leaving for Harlem, so I have to go to Brooklyn now, and I need you to make sure that you are ready. And my father said, no problem, I'll be ready. The next morning I got up, and I noticed that my father was sitting there. His shirt was unbuttoned, and his tie was undone. And I said, Daddy, what are you doing? You need to be ready. We have to go. And my father said, go get your mother. Call her. Get her up here right now. I said, what are you talking about, Daddy? I said, she's about 30 minutes, 40 minutes away. He said, no, get your mother up here right now. I said, why? And he was getting all agitated. He said, get your mother up here right now. I said, Daddy, she's not coming right now. What do you need? I can do it. What do you need? And he looked at me. And he said, your mother, she buttons my shirt and fixes my tie. And I said, what? Are you kidding me? You're going to have this woman drive all the way up here to button your shirt and fix your tie? And I said, why can't you button your own shirt and fix your own tie? He said, I can't. I said, you can't? He said, no. He said, all of the years that I worked in the factory, I worked on the press machine, and it mangled up my hands. And I said, what? He said, yes, when I came up from the South, these were the jobs that they gave us. And I know I had a family. I need to take care of you all. And so I took that job in the press room, and it mangled up my hands. And so your mother, she buttons my shirt and fixes my tie. And I said, Daddy, how come I didn't know about this? How come I didn't know about it? So I said, I can do this. I buttoned up his shirt, and I fixed his tie. And I saw a tear form in my daddy's eyes. And I said, Daddy, it's going to be all right. Don't worry about it. And we drove all the way to Brooklyn in complete silence. When I got to Brooklyn, I got out of the car to the church, and I was on my way out, and my dad grabbed me by the hand. And he said, pray for me and pray for men like me. And I reached over and I grabbed him and I said, thank you, Daddy, for mangling up your hands that all of your children could go off to college. I have a brother who's a plastic surgeon, a brother who is an investment banker, a brother who used to be vice president at BET, a brother who owns his own, all because my daddy mangled up his hands for his family. And I thought about not just my daddy, but I thought about all the men and women who got up early at 4:15 and caught the early bus to go on the other side of town to clean other people's homes. You have no idea the sacrifices that were made for you. You have no idea what your grandmamas and grandpapas, what they did. You have no idea how they rubbed 2 nickels together to make sure that you could go to Stanford and the University of California. You have no idea how they worked from can't see to can't see that you might be able to live in that fancy house when they merely had a shack down in Louisiana.